Could I at least have the key?
Absolutely not.
But if we have to examine the victim again...
Then the esteemed inspector knows where to find me. In my cabin. In bed. Good night, Constable Zellner.
Welcome back to the Raven. Okay, well, we've got the bullet from the body.
That's the bullet from the Baroness's corpse.
I said that.
I don't know much about guns. Legrand will be able to tell me more about it.
Okay, well, he does like to throw his... Well, not throw, but flash his gun around, so he probably does know something about it. If at the very least how to be kind of, how do I want to say, inappropriately quick with it?
A model of the Lydia before it was rebuilt. It used to be a freighter. The wide hallways, the cabins, and the saloon were added later.
Must be hard to remodel a ship from the inside like that. To make hallways wider and everything. I mean, I don't know how that would work. You'd think that most of the structure would be kind of necessary to be intact for the whole thing to hold together. But I guess I don't know anything about ships, so I'm just saying.
An evacuation plan? And some tips from the doctor for avoiding seasickness, sunburn, and the like. And here, a schedule of activities. A drink with the captain, a shuffleboard competition on the forecastle. That's about it. A real barrel of fun.
He pronounces things funny. Or maybe I pronounce things funny. Who knows?
An alarm like this one was set off yesterday. This one hasn't been set off. The security seal is intact.
Okay. Anything else about it? No? Okay, examine the hallway then.
I'm not paying for this trip, and that's a fair price for my cabin.
Oh, snap.
It's rather plain, shall we say.
Okay, well, before we do, let's check out the Legrand's cabin. The Legrand.
That is Legrand's cabin.
Okay. Let's enter it. Why not?
Come in.
Maybe we should have entered ours first. I don't know. Yellow. Still working on that, eh?
Zellner, are you ready?
Good morning, Inspector Legrand. My head is pounding, but I think I'm okay.
Chloral hydrate.
Hmm?
That's why you have a headache. I found traces of it in your champagne glass.
Hurrah.
What have you found out so far?
The Baroness was shot in the chest at close range. We heard the shot. The murderer quickly fled the cabin and dropped the murder weapon over the railing later. A simple story so far.
But why was her cabin door locked?
Exactly. If the murderer wanted to make it seem like a suicide, he'd have shot her in the head and left the gun at the crime scene.
And if it was murder, why did he go to all the trouble of locking the door from inside? And how did he manage that anyway?
Especially since we arrived just a few seconds later and didn't see anyone near the cabin.
Something doesn't make sense here.
No, it doesn't, and it's driving me crazy.
A lot of somethings don't make sense here, apparently.
Did you find the murder weapon?
On the gangway on the side of the ship. I suspect the murderer tried to drop it into the sea. He would have stood close to the railing to let it fall unseen.
And since he doesn't know the ship, he had bad luck and dropped it right onto the gangway.
Indeed. And do you find that probable?
Not a bit.
Neither do I.
Yeah, fair enough. By the way, couldn't you check the gun for prints? He never talked about that.
What kind of a gun is it?
A pistol. A Luger 08.
Antique.
Manufactured 1,000,000 times during and after the First World War. Austrian model. The owner is David Kreutzer, the violinist. We found him tonight totally drunk on the bow of the ship. He confirmed that it's his gun, but he claims that it was stolen from him.
Fingerprints?
Nothing. But it's worth mentioning that the clip was missing 2 bullets.
And it's definitely the murder weapon.
The ballistic tests are incomplete. Actually, I've been waiting far too long for the bullet recovered from the corpse. Pay the good doctor a visit, Zellner, and see that he does his job.
About the bullet. Here it is.
Excellent. Give it to me.
I'm too good for you.
As I suspected. A 7.65 Parabellum Luger.
Don't you want to examine it in more detail?
When I have time. For now, though, we can assume that we had the murder weapon. There can't be too many antique Luger 08 pistols on board.
May I take a look at the Baroness's cabin?
We already searched it thoroughly.
Sure. But what about now, by daylight?
Yes, fine, it can't hurt. Here, take this with you.
Thanks. I'll let you know if I find anything important.
But only then, please. I'm very busy.
Of course.
Why should we want to take the bullet with us? Although, I'm just going to say that we're doing a pretty good job of getting in tight with the inspector. He's clearly trusting us pretty well right now.
Do you believe the violinist?
He'll be the first person I question. He claims he can't remember anything from the last few hours. Says he drank a bottle of schnapps.
He was on the train, and he doesn't have an alibi. His drunkenness could be a smokescreen.
He fits the profile. He travels a lot, has access to high society. Could be interesting.
Oh, that violinist. Right. I guess I didn't make the connection till just now. It's the same guy who may have stolen the Baroness's purse and hidden it in his violin case. I'm pretty sure he's not the Raven, though, because he seemed much too kind of awkward and clumsy to be, you know, a master thief. Although I suppose that's just me stereotyping.
And this chloral hydrate?
Is a tranquilizer. Can be dissolved in alcohol. The effect begins in minutes and lasts for hours. Who gave you the glass of champagne?
Captain, why would we say not sure?
I believe it was Captain de Conti.
If believing were enough for us, we'd have become priests, Constable. Be a policeman and find out for sure.
Understood.
Okay, fair enough.
You think that the jewel thief is the murderer?
Our friend would have needed another key to open the safe and steal the second eye, the one the Baroness was carrying. At least, that's what we implied.
What do you mean?
The Baroness was famous for her forgetfulness. I convinced her to give me the third key. It seems safer for the eye.
The thief searches the Baroness's cabin looking for the third key.
She returns from the saloon earlier than expected.
Surprises him, and he can't allow her to identify him.
He imprisons her until the coast is clear, and then shoots her.
And thus, the thief becomes a murderer.
But still doesn't have all the keys.
Maybe. Although it looked to me like she was laying comfortably on her bed, and she got shot in her sleep, which wouldn't have been the case if she'd walked in and been caught like that. Or so I presume.
Are you sure that there's no bomb inside this time?
Professor Lucien locked it in front of an audience, and it will be opened for the first time in Cairo.
Let's hope so.
It would take hours to crack it, and you'd need heavy machinery.
Or the keys.
Or the 3 keys, that's right.
Well, don't you let yourself get knocked out. Maybe you should keep a guard nearby or something. Someone watching you. Because I don't like the fact that he's in here all alone.
Do you really think that the Raven is behind all this?
He wrote the letter that was on the safe in the train. Without the letter, we wouldn't have opened the safe, and the bomb wouldn't have exploded.
But it doesn't seem like him, does it? The Raven was famous in part because he never hurt anyone, much less killed anyone, during a burglary.
It's his handwriting, and he called me Nico. No one else does that. I chased that man across Europe for years. It is him. It has to be him.
But the evidence...
Enough.
I'll be on my way. I want to find out who gave me the drugged champagne.
Good idea.
Inspector Legrand, are you okay? Maybe you should take a break.
I can sleep once I've caught the Raven. Goodbye, Constable.
Be seeing you.
He's really letting his issues cloud his judgment here. It's gonna get us in trouble. Yeah, I know it.
Legrand is risking not just his career, but his health as well on his hunt for the Raven. He's working like a demon. Maybe that's why he caught the Raven and no one else.
Maybe. Let's check out our cabin.
No, I've slept enough.
Okay, well let's not check out our cabin then. How about that? How about that, Zollner? Would that make you happy? I hope so, because that's exactly what we're not going to do. Okay, we can't enter there, or at least we have no reason to. Sure, why not?
We're lucky that the Lydia has a well-stocked medical center at its disposal. I suppose it was added during the war. A ship of this size wouldn't normally have a full medical center.
Yeah, he even has a gurney for the corpse, which is kind of surprising. I'm not sure who to suspect, because it could be someone we know, of course, but no one we know, I think, seems competent enough to fit the bill. But of course, it could be not the Raven himself, and instead just accomplice, which could mean that they just aren't very competent. Ah, good. Captain DeConti is aboard once more, out of nowhere.
Captain DeConti is sitting at the bar again. He gave me the glass of champagne last night.
The captain's like, Zollner, are you talking to yourself? Sounds to me like you are.
Hello, Captain DeConti.
Hey, Constable Zelna. You're back on your feet again. Glad to see it.
Tell us about the events last night.
What was your experience of last night?
Oh, terrible. Dinner was fantastic. Everyone was excited about having a pleasant drink under the stars. And then this.
You were in the saloon all night long.
As the captain, I have to care for my passengers. After you and the others rushed out, I tried to maintain a festive atmosphere. But when the alarm goes off, I lose the battle.
Ho ho ho. Baroness, tell us about her.
How was the Baroness?
She really surprised me. After she was so unapproachable at the reception and didn't show her face for the entire afternoon, I was afraid she was one of the bores and bourgeoisie. But then she arrived in the early evening in the best of moods. Already had a few, if you know what I mean.
Did she say anything to you?
She asked me where Legrand's cabin was. I told her, then invited her to come for drinks in the evening. I said it would be great fun. The whole ship will be there, and you don't want to miss that, I told her.
And then?
She seemed to like the idea. She smiled, and then left again for a few minutes. Then she came back and seemed very happy. We drank a toast to life.
I don't know if he's depressed or what. He almost sounds depressed in that last line, but he doesn't act like he's too depressed. Maybe he's just drunk.
But at some point she didn't feel well anymore?
She overdid it a bit. She suddenly started to swoon and almost spilled her drink. I asked her if she wanted to rest for a moment in her cabin. At first, she didn't want to. She definitely wanted to stay in the saloon. But then she realized that she really did need to lie down. We left together. You know the rest of the story.
Tell us about the champagne.
Did everyone drink from the same bottle of champagne last night?
There was more than one bottle, if that's what you mean. There were quite a few guests, and the event lasted several hours.
The last bottle of champagne, the one the Baroness drank from, did anyone else drink from it?
Certainly.
We have reason to believe that the champagne was drugged.
Incredible. But wouldn't that have made everyone drowsy?
Not if it was only the Baroness's glass that was drugged.
I see. That's possible. On a night like that, many glasses are filled and emptied. There are several stewards, many guests. No one keeps track of every glass and every bottle.
A few drops in a glass?
Yes, it's certainly possible.
Ask him about my glass.
The glass you handed me last night. Where did you get it?
Ah, I understand. You think your glass was poisoned as well?
Did you pour it yourself?
No. I saw that you weren't doing so well and wanted to rescue the situation. I took the first available glass and I give it to you.
Was it on the table?
No, I hurry over to you, together with Dr. Gebhardt, who... Of course, he had the glass in his hand. He was looking around for a place to set it down, so that he could examine you. I took it from him.
And gave it to me?
I'd like to apologize for that, but you look so worse for the wear, and I just wanted to comfort you. I didn't think of looking for a new glass for you.
So the doctor had the drugged glass in his hand.
So I have to talk to the doctor now about that. Alright, ask about the alarm first, like where it is and stuff.
Is it possible to find out where the alarm was set off?
I'm afraid not. There are alarms all over the ship.
I saw that they're sealed. Can't we just check whether the seal is broken?
I'm afraid they're gonna be missing on a lot of alarms. You know, this is an old ship, and over the years...
So, you're saying that the alarms haven't been regularly maintained?
I'll inform the crew immediately, of course.
Of course.
Well, nuts.
What can you tell me about the passengers?
Oh, not that much, I'm afraid. I wanted to get to know them properly at the reception. In most cases, I just shook hands with them as they boarded the ship. There are a few regulars on board, and after dinner, I had a conversation with Mr. Kreutzer, a talented violinist, and Lady Westmacott. But you already know them from the train.
It seems like there aren't that many passengers on board.
These bloody airplanes are making our lives miserable. Can you imagine? Grown men prefer to jam themselves into a narrow metal coffins instead of enjoying the fresh sea air on a ship.
It's all about saving time.
It shouldn't be about how much time it takes to get from A to B, but about how you spend that time. What you experience on the journey, that's what it's about.
I'll get back to my investigations now.
Ciao, Constable.
Fair enough, though. I think it'd be kind of neat to go on a sea cruise. Doubt I'll ever get the opportunity, though.
Lady Westmacott seems to be an early bird, but maybe that's just because of all the excitement. I saw a twinkle in her eye on the train. She's eager to be part of a real detective story.
Fair enough. Next time on The Raven, because I know we're already way past overtime, we will talk to Lady Westmacott and see what she has to say. See you then.